What is going on, dogs? It is Captain K, and today we are continuing the Broken Leg series. And for gameplay wise, I have some Overwatch. I was listening to the community, and a lot of people were offended by the last violent video games I was playing. So I went a more family friendly approach. Got some Zenyatta gameplay. So I hope you guys enjoy that. So part 2 to this story, we're gonna take off. We're gonna pick right off where we left off. That was a lot of offs. All right, so I'm in the car, right, and we're driving to this hospital called it's like Holy something. So we're driving there, and it's a bumpy ass ride. Okay, it's like and my leg's like jiggling, and it hurts because my leg's I didn't notice it at the time, but it was crushed up. So so we're driving there, and it's hurting. I still got a little bit of that adrenaline in me from that, so it's hurting pretty bad, but not as bad as it's gonna hurt in a minute. So we get to Holy Cross. There's some wheelchairs at the door. I plop myself down in one of those, and I can't put my leg down on the footrest on the wheelchair. I have to hold it up because it's just I can't rest it at all. It just hurts that bad. And we're waiting in the waiting room for 45 minutes. The people are asking us questions, and at this point the adrenaline's gone, so it's just hurting full force. No pain medication. We didn't stop at home or anything. So this is where it was hurting the most. So then finally 45 minutes later, they're like, "Art, we'll take you back." All right, they wheel me back to my kind of room thing, and the lights are so bright. I just at this point I just really want to go home because I'm really stressed out right now. And it's really putting a damper on old Captain K's soul. So what they do is they're like, "All right, would you like a pill form of morphine or an IV?" So it's not I'm one of those people that are terrified of needles, but I'm not "Oh, yeah, hit me up with that IV, man." But I was I need this instant relief, so I was I'm gonna go IV. So they put it in. This is the first time I got an IV. Wasn't nearly as bad. It was less worse, not as bad as a shot. So they get it in there, and then I morphine gives you a little warm feeling. It's kind of it's basically medical heroin. So now that the morphine has kicked in, I'm feeling a lot better, but still it still hurts really, really bad. So then they tell me, "All right, we're gonna have to cut off the shoe or take off this shoe somehow." And so what they do is I don't care. I wasn't wearing really nice shoes, thank God. I was wearing some nasty Vans, so they just cut them off. And yeah, so they cut those off, and then they cut up my joggers. That was the part that kind of sucked because they were $50, and I just got them, so that brought a little tear to my eye. So once they got those off, they took off my underwear and sucked my dick, and then I was just kidding. What they did from there was they just looked at my leg, and then I remember the lady there was "Oh yeah, you're gonna need surgery," and the nurses at this hospital kind of sucked. Okay, they took forever to get my morphine. They were just so negative. They didn't want to be there either. I mean, it was 11 o'clock at night, so I can't blame them, but still. So I'm lying there, I'm getting all stressed out and shit. I'm not I'm not freaking out. I'm just pissed off because I was why did I do this? So then, what they do is they get me in this splint. So they just wrap me up in this. Sorry, I thought. Shh, guys, stay quiet. Mommy's coming. Okay, sorry about that, but anyway, they wrapped me up into this splint thing, right? It was just some gauze, and then this wrap. So it was pretty much a cast, and it got somewhat hard. So then what they did was they're gonna move me over to this bigger hospital in the area where it was directed towards children, and my mom is actually she's not at the hospital, but she works with the hospital, right? So they put me in the ambulance, and these EMTs are fresh. Okay, they're so nice, talking to me, and they're cool. So we start going down the road. They gave me morphine right before I left, so I was good on the ride. It was nice, peaceful, and it was the only time where I got some sleep, even though it was only a 45-minute drive. So when I got there, this place was nice. I got my own special room. It wasn't just along the line with everybody else. And I heard I didn't like that first hospital, but this hospital was super nice. I got my own room. It was really cozy. They gave me morphine very quick, so I was never in pain for too long. And yeah, I got to watch a good amount of Brave. So if you guys like the Disney classic Brave, go check it out. It's a quality movie. So then I got the news. So they didn't know if I was gonna need surgery or not. They took the X-rays. They took even more X-rays. I forgot to mention they were taking X-rays pretty often when I was at the Holy Cross place. So then when we got to the bigger hospital for like directed towards children, oh yeah, they took even more x-rays, and basically they told me that they were gonna need to reset my leg. So what that means is they were gonna put me under anesthetics, but they were gonna like just get me like super fucking blasted high that I wouldn't really remember it, but I'll tell you about that in a sec. So what they did was they got this drug. It's called ketamine, and it's actually used for date rape. So what they did was they just put in my IV, and they started talking. Oh yeah, and they started talking to me, and I started like drifting off, right? And I'm gonna describe you this trip because I actually tripped balls. Okay, so I'm gonna try to describe this as best I can. So first off, I just fade into like a white. Okay, so everything just gets really fuzzy, like a buzzing in my ears, which is like normal for like a lot of like anesthetics and stuff like that. So it turns into white, and okay, so here's what it was like. So I didn't have arms or anything. It was just like I had a soul, right? So I could see everything, but I didn't have a body, and everything was white, and I couldn't remember what it was like to be like normal, right? So I couldn't remember anything about my life. I couldn't remember my YouTube channel. I couldn't remember anything. I just knew I was right here at this moment. I couldn't remember my name, and then I just felt like this pulling and stretching, and like I was trying to think of what words meant. Like I was thinking of like, because what I was experiencing was pain, and I knew that, but I was like, what does that even mean? Like I could picture the word, but like I couldn't figure out what it meant, and then it'd be like this stretching and pulling, and it would hurt really bad, and like that was actually like what they were doing to my leg. Like when they were resetting it, the pain, I could still feel the pain, but my mind redirected it into like what I was like, into like this dream kind of thing. So like I feel like I was being stretched and like pulled, and then like I'd kind of fade back into a hospital like scenario, but then I'd like go back into like this white, like just this white haze, and like I'd feel it over and over again, and it felt like I was doing that for so long. But then I finally waked up like for real, and I was kind of just like, I couldn't keep my head balanced on the pillow, so it just kept like leaning to one side. And they woke up, they said like, yeah, it's like 6 o'clock, you did good, your leg is reset. And I was like, yeah, cool. Like, so that was pretty crazy. But then they took a couple more x-rays. I was like off and on sleeping, and then what they said, like, all right, you're ready to go home. So when I first broke my leg, it was at like 11 o'clock that night, and I was going home about, I'd say 7 o'clock it was about 9 o'clock when I started to leave. So yeah, I was at the hospital all night. It was pretty wild. It felt like forever. But so what they did was they put me on crutches. They're like, here are your crutches, and they gave me like a short lesson. But I already had fooled around with like my friend's crutches at school, so I kind of had like a little demo. So I just got on the crutches. We walked home. Oh, not to mention, I forgot to mention, they gave me a nice little package of saltines and some ginger ale. That was pretty nice. I washed. It felt really good to eat, because before I couldn't eat. Like I was like, I'm not gonna eat anything because I felt really sick. But I got to go home, and just the feeling of being home felt so good. Like after all that, just wanting to go home so bad, because like I was just in so much pain, and then finally being home is just amazing. So this is gonna this isn't over yet. There's still part 3, but this is gonna conclude part 2. Hope you guys have a wonderful day. A little bit longer video, and I actually have the clip of the day coming. I actually don't have a clip of the day. I have like a little Overwatch opening, and it's right here. So I'll see you guys later.
Anyone want some barbecue? Anyone want some barbecue?
Happy Thanksgiving, baby.